everyone, let's turn our attention to the Nigeria's opposition politics and the state of the nation under President Bola Tinubu's administration. Well, my next guest tonight on the program is the spokesperson of the opposition coalition. He's Bolaji Abdullahi, and as African Democratic Congress spokesperson and the wider opposition coalition. As we unpack the big questions shaping the political conversation today in the country, from the government's performance so far, issues of the economy, and to the persistent groaning of an average person in the parity of the naira to the dollar, 1,500 and above, security challenges to the internal reorganization of the ADC. Let's speak with Mr. Bolaji Abdullah, who is live for us in our studio here. Thanks so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
You heard what the spokesperson to the president said. It does look like everything is perfect in the country.
I had him. I had him. And I feel sorry for President Tinubu. Because if this is the kind of narrative that he gets to hear all the time, then it's natural that it's obvious that he lives in a bubble. And in the echo chambers of what they are telling themselves. The gentleman who just left here now was painting a picture of El Dorado, of a country. At a point I began to ask myself, maybe I'm in a kind of suspended animation. I'm no longer in Nigeria. I mean, he was talking about insecurity being degraded. There are 6 law students that are still missing. Imagine the parents of these children who are just going to school, abducted, and kidnappers have the nerve to actually be demanding 120 million to free these children. These children are still in captivity up till I speak. And someone sits here and tells us that insecurity is being degraded. I actually think that President Tinubu needs to leave the villa and go on the streets and talk to people and stop listening to this kind of narrative and stop listening to state governors who are just saying what they think they need to say to endear themselves to power rather than tell him the true feelings of the people.
So, in all what has been said and the performance of this government, they said, look, they've delivered on this, they've delivered on that, but you in the opposition, they say you see the cup half empty. But they are seeing it as half full. We are over the 2-year mark of this government. How do you see it? Half empty or half full?
The problem is not even whether it's half empty or half full. The problem is, what does the cup contain? What does the cup contain? Because when you are looking at the parameters, the analogy of half full, half empty, you are saying, oh, they are making efforts. No doubt.
Are they making efforts?
Look, a man that will break into somebody's house to steal his things, an armed robber, will make efforts. Everybody will make efforts. The Yahoo boys doing things, they make efforts. So the point I'm making is that it's not about the effort. It's about the consequences of your action. Whatever you think you are doing, how does it affect a citizen whose reason for voting for you presumably is to improve the quality of his life or to improve the quality of our life? Do you know how many businesses have collapsed, even as we speak, by people who they have not done anything wrong?
So, Malam Abdullahi, I'm moved to ask you, and I put Nigeria as a proverbial vehicle,
yes,
being driven by President Bola Tinubu.
Yeah.
And for a moment, it's as though you have your driver tells you, look, I don't know where we're going to. All my eyes suddenly my eyes are itching me, and I cannot see the road any longer, you know you are in danger.
You are in trouble.
But even when the driver does not know the road, and I've driven vehicle at some point on the express, and I've seen a failed brake. But I didn't panic the people in the vehicle. And as soon as I parked the vehicle, they were asking me what exactly went wrong. And I said, look, we had a brake failure about 10 minutes ago. But just looking for the right place to park the vehicle. They said, really, is that what happened? Now, as a proverbial driver, driving the nation, the vehicle of our nation, do you, for a moment, think that we are in a good hands of someone driving this country?
Sometimes you have a feeling that there are voices whispering to the president.
Is he a good driver? And who has passengers who are whispering back to
the question of whether he's a good driver or not will depend on the consequences of his actions or inactions.
You've been in cabinet before.
Yes.
The trajectory we are going as a people, does it look like a destination that we dream of?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because
so President Bola Tinubu is a bad driver of this nation?
Tell you.
Is that what you're referring?
Let me tell you. He could be. Let me tell you. 2 years after, United States, United Kingdom are giving travel advisory about our country that they could have given 2 years ago. So what it means is that whatever you are doing has not worked. Whatever you are doing to secure the lives of the people has not worked. So at what point in a lifetime of an administration that is supposed to last for 4 years do we begin to see the results of what you are doing? You told us that if you devalue the naira, if you remove subsidy, then you have more revenue. You have more money to share, which is what is going to the states, and they say they are having more money. Now the question is, more money going to the government, more money going to the states, but how does that impact on the life of the ordinary Nigerian? The kind of people who are begging for money to feed their family today are people who will probably not have, proud people, who will probably not have contemplated.
Maybe we are going through the rough patch and we're perhaps going to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Now, it is a duty of the government to tell us when we will begin to see that light. If after 2 years, you are still telling us we are where we are today, and you are telling us, you know, I saw something yesterday. Again, a statement released by some United States agency saying that while the government is telling Nigerian people to sacrifice, to suffer, government people are living in obscene opulence. We all see this. We don't need foreigners to tell us. So if you tell us that the reason we need to suffer is because we expect some reward at the end of our suffering, then tell us when the suffering will begin to end. Then show us that you are with us, that you are also suffering with us. But you cannot be living lavishly, buying new jets, buying yachts, building, renovating your villas, living like some desert sheikhs, and telling your people that, oh, please, don't worry, you will begin to see results. Don't worry, you will need to just suffer
but hasn't there been improvement? You saw what the NSA said.
Yeah.
You saw what the governor of Kaduna says. Governor of Kaduna says the reason why no governor can challenge President Tinubu is because they're getting more money and the states are faring better than any other time. And the NSA said, look, the security under this government is way better than what we saw in the last 2 years before this government came into power.
I just give you an example of the children that were kidnapped going to law school. I'm from Kwara State. Banditry was a story that we used to hear happen in other places. Now you cannot go to a part of Kwara State. Now, as I speak to you, you cannot go to Patigi. There are other parts of Kwara North you cannot go to because bandits have taken over. There are some parts of this country where bandits and people, these are people's lived experience. That's why I said I'm surprised.
So you're saying that their reports are not correct?
Oh, absolutely not. It does not reflect the reality of the people who live in fear. A father whose daughter will be handed to bandits so that they will not come and kill the entire family.
Are you in the opposition, Malam Abdullahi, just wanted to grab power? Or is there an alternative that you have? Because you've been in cabinet, you've been in the APC,
Yes.
you've been in the PDP,
Yes.
and a crop of the people that we see in your association of the coalition and in the ADC, the question people will be asking, what new things should we expect to come out of all of these lots? The question is, do you just want to grab power, or you have a better solution? Because according to the voters and according to some other persons who say, look, Tinubu is the better of the lot, is the one that can get things done based on the candidates that were available at the election.
Let me quickly say something. When President Buhari, may God rest his soul, was in power, many people felt, oh, those were bad times, and the economy was going down. But today, how many people have you had who have said, oh, even during Buhari, it wasn't this bad? People who Nigerians never thought that the time would come when they would say Buhari's government was better than what we have at the moment. So when you say President Bola Tinubu is better of the lot, I don't know what you are comparing. Now, talk about
Atiku,
now, talking about
Peter Obi.
now, let me come to that.
Let
me come to the issue. Let me go. Sure, you are very funny. Let me come to the issue of people just wanting to be in power,
grabbing
power. And let me relate it to what we both know to be the reality. The first point is this. The reason, the fundamental principle for multi-party democracy is that people should have alternative. I listened to the chairman of APC yesterday saying there is no vacancy in 2027. That is absurd, and it is insulting to the Nigerian people. The mere fact that our constitution provides for periodic election means that there will be vacancy. And the APC and President Tinubu will need to reapply for the job they are doing at the moment. And they don't get to mark their own papers. Nigerians will mark their papers and tell them whether they have done well or not. Now, having said that, the immediate driver of the coalition was that the APC appeared committed to ensuring that they have left Nigerians with no alternative. If you look at what has happened to all the opposition parties before ADC came, there was no voice challenging what they are doing, nobody asking questions. So what happened is that with the destabilization of these various political parties, is that lead political actors in different parties are now saying, let's come together and form a new formidable political party that can challenge for power, that can represent an alternative to Nigerian people. Now, what you see, even that alone, provides an opportunity for Nigerians to arrive at 2027 and ask themselves this question you are asking me. Has President Tinubu and APC made your life better? If the answer is yes, then they vote for them. If the answer is no, they should have an alternative, and that's what we have done.
Yeah, you heard what Buala was saying, that what you did, David Mark, the articles, and the rest, and Aregbe Shola to the ADC is what he described as a hostile takeover, a forceful takeover of the ADC. Mr. Dumebi Kachukwu is already in court, and he's saying that you can't come to his home and take over his home. Dumebi Kachukwu is saying you are all jokers. That's how he described you.
Now, I don't know if you have this information. The last time I came here, I didn't have this information, but I have it now. That as far back as 2022, Dumebi Kachukwu has been expelled from the party. He's not even a member of the ADC.
But he ran on the platform of the party
in 2023. That was in the previous election. No, not this 2023.
No, he ran in 2023.
But the record says that he has been expelled from the party.
No, but he ran. He was on the.
I don't think he's.
No, he was on the ballot in
because
2023.
it was affirmed yesterday.
No,
it was affirmed that the
he ran for election because I know.
Yeah.
Because I know all those who ran, all the 18 candidates that ran for election in 2023. He came fifth actually.
But what I know as a matter of fact,
know
as a matter of fact, because as recent as yesterday, the NEC affirmed that all those who were expelled from the party for anti-party activities are recalled or are readmitted into the party, except Dumebi Kachukwu. We were not in the party then, so we didn't know what happened.
If it was in 2022,
now,
that means there's an error in their data.
Maybe there's
because
error in their data.
As far as INEC is concerned, this is the man who was on the ballot with the ADC.
But the point we seek to make is that he has been expelled from the party. And I was at the NEC meeting yesterday when that was reaffirmed. Now, that is one. Number two, who is talking about hostile takeover? Is it members of the ADC, apart from the...
Maybe and some party chairmen.
People.
There was a press conference that we saw some state chairmen of the party, and 3 of what would have called the displaced executive members of the NWC of the ADC.
So what have you had since then?
They've gone to court. They said they've gone to court.
Yeah, okay. You see, the point is, it's possible that these people have gone to court because they didn't have information. And that is why I've repeatedly maintained, for us in ADC, in the coalition, we're on solid legal footing. We're on solid legal ground. So the individuals who have gone to court, we will be happy to engage them. Like I said, it's possible that they didn't have the information they needed to know that we have done everything in accordance with the law. The NEC meeting we had yesterday was very successful. We now have new executive in the party, and INEC was present at the NEC meeting. They witnessed all that happened. So anybody still talking about hostile takeover is behind time. What we should be talking about is whether this country deserves a credible, viral opposition.
Well, Abdullah, give me just for a moment. We'll go on a break. But the question about who will be the candidate and the fight that is seemingly going on or growing internally in the ADC, and whether or not some people are already looking for alternatives within the ADC already, gets our attention. Perhaps, can Nigeria get a real deal from the ADC in 2027? And what are those options? We'll be right back after this break, everyone.
My name is Austin Azoko Kocha, but you all call me JJ. That's because I was so unstoppable, they named me twice. During my days as a professional footballer, I played as an attacking midfielder. No one could stop me, not even malaria, when mosquito bites. Now you too can be unstoppable if you use Lonat against malaria.
Lonat, a combination of Artemether and lumefantrine. Lonat, be unstoppable.
I'm thinking of also running for class president, Captain Excellence.
But I thought Nkechi was already running and she's your friend. Why not support her?
Well, she's a girl. The boys won't vote for her, and they will bully the other girls if they try to make her win.
Ahmed, why do you think that way? Just because she's a girl doesn't mean she's any less qualified. We need to treat everyone equally.
But Captain Excellence, it's just how it is. Girls usually don't win this kind of election.
That's exactly why we need to take action. Equality means treating every person fairly without discrimination.
You're right, Captain Excellence. One small action a day can make a big difference for life.
Supporting someone based on their merits rather than their gender, friendship, or background can help us build a better society.
Nkechi is actually the best candidate for the job. I will support her.
Our closing moments now with Malam Balaji Abdullahi, the opposition, coalition, and ADC spokesperson. Thanks so much indeed.
Thank you.
Your comment about Peter Obi is generating controversy within the PDP, and they thought that that was very uncomplimentary what he said about Peter Obi and the possibility of Peter Obi going to the ADC, the PDP, and the fact that this is an Atiku coalition, and the fact that Peter Obi is already looking out for options, and the PDP is already cutting in. Doesn't that show that there is some problem within the ADC already, and you have not even started?
There's no problem within the ADC. Peter Obi has been part of the coalition from day one. Peter Obi has attended almost every meeting of the coalition. The reason Peter Obi has not come into the ADC as a card-carrying member was because he asked for leave to allow him to complete the election that his people were involved in his Labour Party. The same thing applied to Malam Nasiru El-Rufai, and they were allowed by the leadership to complete the election processes that they started in their respective parties before they come into the ADC. And that is what I know. As I speak to you...
Peter Obi is not a member of the ADC for now.
He's a member of the coalition.
But not a member of the ADC.
He's not a card-carrying member of the ADC yet, because he was given permission by the leadership to complete the election process that he started in the Legacy Party. He specifically asked for it, and the same way Malam Nasiru El-Rufai asked for it, and they were allowed to.
Why does it look like a lot of people have already summed up the answer even from the beginning? They say, look, all of these is for Atiku to get a ticket, and it's an Atiku coalition. And the reason perhaps people are thinking that Peter Obi is already being courted in the PDP.
I mean, I can understand PDP cutting anybody that looks like can give them a lifeline. I mean, I can understand that. But what I know for a fact is that Peter Obi is in the coalition. I also know for a fact that this is not an Atiku coalition. What is at stake goes beyond. Like I said repeatedly, the ADC is not built around anybody's individual ambition. What is at stake is much bigger than every individual. And look, Sheil, I'm 56. Who says I don't want to be president? Who says I don't want to be president? So we are doing this because we want to...
Because already you have a Kachiku problem. You are having an Atiku reputation problem. You are having...
What do you mean by Atiku reputation?
Because they think that Atiku, that is a coalition. All of you are working to the answer.
No, that's not true. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That's not, you know, you can...
No, I'm saying it to you as a journalist.
No, yeah, I understand.
Although you know you've retired.
I can tell you.
You're a retired journalist. But I'm reporting to you to tell you that it's a feeling, and the perception out there is that this is all about... This is an orchestration.
Do you recollect that even from the start, even before we unveiled the coalition, they were coming out to say Atiku coalition. Atiku coalition. It was deliberately engineered to brand it an Atiku coalition.
Is it not?
It is absolutely not an Atiku coalition. And we'll continue to maintain, and people will see.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Malam, we're totally out of time. In 20 seconds, if you may, why should Nigerians believe in this coalition as an alternative?
Because what we have tried in the last 2 years have failed. APC promised change. And over 10 years, APC has done, because every attempt that this government administration may make to distance themselves from the last administration is not possible, because it is the same ADC government, and they have failed.
All right.
And Nigerians need to try something else. And this ADC represents the alternative.
Malam Bolaji Abdullah is the spokesperson of the ADC and the wider opposition coalition. Thanks so much indeed for your time.
Thank you very much.